What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I heard? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within the spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if I knew only the truth? What if my mind accepted everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within the spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. Oh, Mother, Father, Spirit, guide us from above. Our sons and daughters look to us to show them love. Come, sisters, brothers, let's hold hands and sing as one, that we will be what we've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within the spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? Love. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I heard? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon?
Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Ezugwu and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Well, I'll check sound real quick.
Good morning. It's just still running. It doesn't look like it's live or it's switched over.
Yeah, I mean, sound is working, so should be good. That's not, I know, but that's probably behind though, because I turned off the music, I turned off that. We're good.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I got that on. Well, good morning. Welcome. If anybody could check our feed, that would be great because it's not working for me this morning on my computer, my phone. But I know that True, thank you for doing all the great things behind the scenes. I'm sure everything's working properly, and I appreciate that. Well, welcome to Sofa Sundays. We're here at the Unleash Your Life Studios. Thank you, Unleash Your Life Studios, home of Reverend Dr. Michelle Whittington's classes and her practice. And we are so grateful that she allows us to use this space every single Sunday for now going on 4 years. We are located at 7220 North 16th Street and building A1. And you'll see us because we have a picture of our logo on that front door. So we welcome you to join us. You're never late for the sofa. So if you're on your way, come on over. We'd love to see you. And we actually scheduled our time at 11:11 so you could hit other services and still get to ours. But if you're just watching us online, we love seeing you there too. So thanks for joining us. Please share with everyone else. Let them know that we're here doing our thing. And obviously, Reverend Jeannie is not with us this morning.
I'm Reverend Jeannie.
No, you're not. No. This is my wonderful husband, Peter Ezugwu, and I'm so excited that whenever you can join us, it's very fun for me to have you here with us and sharing your thoughts and your ideas with everybody else like you do with me all the time.
Right.
So I appreciate it. That's all we do. All we do is explore stuff.
Yes,
Yes, we probably should.
yes.
Because our voices, so you could hear me. Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to start us off with some prayer, and then we will get to the topic of the day.
That's hot.
It's very hot. I thought you were just talking about me.
Well, that's a given.
How is it now? Does it sound better now? Or
There's
lower?
lower high still.
How's that now? How about him? How about this?
He's good.
Good. Awesome. Thank you for letting us know that, Anna. Okay. So let's pray this morning. For the sound of the chime, the singing bowl, let's take a deep breath together. Breathing in that vibration and releasing anything that's already happened this morning, anything that's already transpired. We're just going to let that go right now. And with the next inhale, we'll recognize anything coming after our time together. And with the exhale, you will release that also. We are in the present moment. We are grounded in the now. We are here together, recognizing one power, one presence, one life that is all there is. Understanding that we are that life. We are that energy manifesting, experiencing, expressing through each one of us uniquely. We are each unique, whole, perfect, and complete expressions of the one. And from the place of my knowing, from that truth that I've spoken, I speak my word into the law for all of us. Whether you're here now, whether you listen to this later, whether you just receive it through the ripple effect in the quantum field. I speak for all of us now, for this present moment, knowing that as we allow ourselves to be here, be now, we receive what is ours to receive. Our minds are open, our hearts are open. We easily share between us. We easily share the ideas, the laughter, the love, the joy that we are. And through that, we create a life we love. And I'm grateful to be a part of it. I'm grateful to be here present now with everyone. And with gratitude and love in my heart, I let it go, know and trust that it's already done in the mind of God perfectly. And together we say, and so it is. Well, good morning on this beautiful, warm Sunday here in sunny Arizona. I don't know about you, but it feels a little warm. We've got some clouds. I'm hoping for some rain. I don't know if that's on the forecast, but I'd like to have it. Whenever I see clouds, I'm always hopeful. But I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, always. We have a fun topic today. My imagination is a doorway to divine ideas. My imagination is a doorway to divine ideas. And I think that's a very interesting topic. Oh, he's already got it. Go ahead.
No.
I'm like, he's already ready.
No, just like you speak in a way that is very vivid and descriptive sometimes, and your prayer was excellent. And then I was just thinking about this idea of a cloud. You said it's cloudy. And so when you talk about divinity, there's nothing, I mean, there's many things that can humanly represent, or in kind of the material, physical world that can represent divinity. But I think of clouds, I always think about heaven, or the idea of heaven, right? Or the things that we don't understand. I think in that space, we always look up to the clouds, into the sky, and in there lies kind of this inset tapestry of imaginative things that you can see. You know what I mean? It's unique. Yeah, so clouds is a great place to start, isn't it? What do they, for me, they represent something specific, something very unique. And for someone else, they might represent something else entirely, something as simple as weather or weather patterns, etc. But yeah, clouds is a good place to start. Just get my mind going into this imaginative space. Because I imagine in movies I've seen where these fictional figures are riding around on clouds, right? When you see depictions of heaven, and according to Christian faith or Catholic faith, you see God sitting in the clouds, or Jesus Christ in the clouds, people coming through the clouds. And that's all imaginative because nobody actually has it taped or recorded on Instagram yet. So it's
Right. It's not on the ground, people.
It's not real.
Surprisingly.
I know. I love that because for those of you who don't know already, we don't script anything and it just naturally flows through us. But I love how, yes, we purposefully did that. We wanted Spirit to just be able to move freely. But my imagination is a doorway to divine ideas. I love the cloud analogy that you just came up with because when people look at the clouds, don't we see different things? Some people just see clouds and they don't even try to imagine. They don't even try to see something else going on there. Some people see beautiful things, or a puppy dog chasing a ball, or an angel, or as you say, I've heard people say that's Jesus coming in the clouds, or I see this. What they have imagination, but certainly you can see scary things in the clouds, right? You can see whatever your imagination is tuned to, you can see that in the clouds. You can make them look like all kinds of things. And then you have the clouds doing their job, just roaming around up there, and in the natural process of the world, receiving water from the earth and then dropping it back down so that we have continual renewable water that we need to survive with. So they get full of that water and they become dark. Once beautiful, fluffy, pretty, cotton candy, seeing whatever you think you're seeing up there, clouds, and then next thing you know, they're dark and ominous, and maybe there's some lightning in there, and then now they're scared, and they can be scary because they're noisy and all kinds of stuff happens. So clouds to me are a very great way to start this in just an example representation of what are we seeing? What does that represent to us? What has our experience told us that clouds are, or that they're capable of, or that they bring to us or take us? What are they?
The creativity of a man's imagination is infinite, right? So a man, meaning a man or a woman, any being, especially as humans, we have this thing that we call consciousness, right? And then this idea that we're aware and alert, cognitive dissonance, reasoning, whatever. And so when I think about when I was a kid, and I was starting to prospect this idea of growing up as an adult and creating my ideas based on influences and people and things that I saw and things that I could qualify as being real, because I had a very vivid memory of my imagination working for me and working against me.
Yes, yes.
So those,
That's a great way to say it.
right. So that most of that happened. I'd say around 5, 6, 7 years old, I would imagine, where I couldn't discern what was real and what wasn't necessarily because I just wasn't capable. Fantasy was part of context because I went to a Catholic school.
Magical thinking.
Magical
is what
thinking.
kids have.
Right.
Yeah, right, they do.
Right. I went to a Catholic school. We read the Bible, and all these crazy things and cool things that would happen in that book, and obviously that led into my kind of natural thought process. And so, all that to say, I think the imagination is so powerful, and so being able to be in a space where when I think about my memories, one of my most powerful moments was when I was able to look up to the sky and just stare at the clouds and see different figures. And so that was godly to me. That was about as close to God as I could get when I was a kid, especially in times where I was a little bit perturbed or confused or dejected. I would look at clouds and I would see fantasy and opportunity and kind of this mystical opportunity to dream. So that's a good place to start. Now I'm in a place where I want to talk about clouds all day.
Feeling like clouds.
Feeling like clouds, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that is interesting. And even the natural, I don't know if it comes from people thinking that up there is heaven. Oh, true. If people thinking that up there is heaven, but you naturally want to look up when you want to talk with God. He's going to borrow your microphone. So it's interesting how the clouds can do that. Go ahead.
Well, when you first started talking about that, Peter, about looking up, the first thing I thought about was I have heard it said that like our natural spiral is to look up, which is one of the reasons why we are bent towards continual growth. The comparison that was made, which I thought was really interesting, was that if you look at a strand of DNA, it spirals upward. And if you think about our continual reaching for, that seeking knowledge and whatever, I think it's interesting that we automatically look up. And some of that is, like Peter said, the indoctrination of whatever religion we were raised in, that there's heaven up there. But even if that's not part of your belief system, there's something that causes us to look up. And I don't know, I find it fascinating.
It is fascinating. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Thank you.
And we are on a constant upward
Especially
spiral.
when you get to the space of divinity. Well, especially when you get into the space of divinity, we start prospecting, you want hope, you pray. Some people pray looking down, but your tendency is to look up, and that represents hope. And opportunity, whatever that looks like. So cool.
That's very interesting. I love that.
All that stuff.
Right? So clouds is a great way to start with this. My imagination is a doorway to divine ideas. And that is the affirmation. Because that's what we want to remember about our imagination. While our imagination can also bring a host of other opposing ideas, negative, it can be like that too. We recognize that is a gift that we have as our imagination. And to use it wisely, to wield it wisely.
So,
like all of our powers that we have.
Right. So I think as human beings, we do have these unique powers and opportunities to be able to prospect our thoughts, manipulate our thoughts, and idealize whatever that looks like for each individual. Every single person on earth has a different idea of what idealization looks like. But we have this opportunity to sit there and say that these are the outcomes I want to have in my mind. And that is imagination, this opportunity to say, I believe that, I want to have a future that leans more into this idea of, contentment, commitment to something, whatever that is, and happiness. And we can consciously make that decision in our imagination, in our brain, to do that. What does that look like for each person? I don't know, but for you it might mean, going to pick some roses every day and putting a bouquet of beautiful roses in your kitchen and seeing those, because that enlightens this idea of happiness and beauty. And then you go and have, some oranges and some apples, because that makes you feel replenished and good. And then you go to a Bible study with people that are saying, you know what I mean? But your imagination puts you in that space where you're allowed to prospect that and ultimately design what it looks like for you to be happy based on your past experiences. And that, to me, is it's the idea of free will, right? Because we have free will in this country, which for some, I think, should be taken away. Oh, no, sorry. We have free will in this country, which means we have the opportunity to do things we would like to do, and we take our lives in the direction we want. The mind's a powerful place, but on the other side, and you can lean into this because you talk about this a lot, we also have a lot of negative thoughts in that imagination swirling, and that's where the battle, the battle's taking place in our minds, and this kind of an idea of what our lives are going to look like. And that's probably the most powerful thing I've learned from my wife, Dr. Michelle Ezugwu here, is that the mind is the most powerful place on earth. It's absolutely scary. And the more I learn that, the more I learn that, the more power I have. And that's the space I'm living in. So I love this conversation about imagination. I want to dominate the conversation, but it's really a good place to be and to explore for your community,
Right. Right. And when you were saying that, I was thinking of we've been talking a lot of different conversations lately about butterflies and how they transform from this caterpillar into the chrysalis and then into this butterfly, right? And there's so many different things that are going on there. They'll never be that caterpillar again. They're not changing, they are transforming. There's a big difference between those two words. And when you want to change, move your life the way you want, you think you want to change, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change it. No, you don't want to change. You don't want to have that leaves change, so then they come back and then they're green again. They gotta keep doing it over and over. No, we're not changing. We want to transform. We want to go to the next place in our evolution. We don't want to keep doing this loop over and over again, right? We want to keep moving up. So in talking about imagination, however, if you're outside watching this process happen, you can imagine all sorts of things that aren't even true. Like that caterpillar becoming a thing of mush. I'm sure there's a more important word there, but it looks like it's gone. It looks like it's not alive. In my mind, like, how's it coming back from that? It just dissolved into liquid stuff. And how in the world is that going to be anything again? So I might walk away thinking it's done. It's over. But no, it's not. Then it starts to form itself. And sometimes you can see the actual wings through the chrysalis. You can see the design starting to form. You can see because it's a little see-through. And then you can see that the forming of the butterfly. And then the butterfly tries to get out of that. The chrysalis starts to break out of it. And the thing that I found so fascinating is if you're watching that and you don't know better, you might try to help it, which is the worst thing you can do. And not help that butterfly, because the butterfly needs that process to shove the blood into its wings so it can fly. If you help it, you think you're being helpful. If you help it, it will never fly. It will just be waddling around. It can't do it. So we imagine all these things that aren't even real. We imagine a future that hasn't been here yet, and then we react and respond and make moves that don't work. So when you're saying we're visualizing, maybe we're visualizing the life we want. Maybe we're visualizing the roses and the apples and the orange and this easy life where we can just have these things and we move this way. But if every single day our imagination is not aligned with that, we are not on the path for that one. We're on the path for something else. We're not aligning with it. Our thoughts, our minds are extremely powerful, and we have got to pay attention to the everyday imaginations, not just the visualizing of the future that we want to be at. We have to guard our everyday thoughts. And sometimes the process that we're going through looks awful like a butterfly's. Looks awful like destruction and never coming back, and I'm never going to be able to make it. It's the worst thing that's ever happened, and on and on. Man, but you said you wanted this over here. You said, I want a life that looks like that. And you have to trust that God has your back. God, yes, God only says yes. You want this? Yes. And then that's the process. The butterfly says, I want to be a butterfly. I want to fly. This sucks just crawling around down here. I'm bait to everything around here. What? I want to be up there with the birds and I want to fly. And it's dreaming of this thing. Well, God says yes. I'll make you a butterfly. And the process begins. So I feel like when we're going through these stages in our life, this up-leveling, this spiraling, we're not wanting to do this change thing. We're not wanting to keep running around. We want to up-level. We want to transform. We have to recognize that our imagination can get confused as to what's actually happening. The growth is messy. It's painful sometimes. It's like a rebirth. It's shedding of the old and coming into the new self that's going to align with the thing that we want, the life that we're saying we want to be there. You can't bring all that with you to get up there. It's not going to match. The person that you were isn't the person that's there. You can't get there with old thoughts. You have to get there with these new understandings and trusting that God has your back and knows the way. That is not your job. And that's where I think our imagination, being a doorway to all these divine ideas, it's almost like we really have to pay attention to what's running around in there. Because we don't want something fighting us. We don't want something cutting the chrysalis open and letting us out too soon, stopping the process too soon because it looks awful and painful and I don't want it to suffer. No, we have to be like, just give it a little bit more. You're so close. I can see. You're a butterfly, man. I can see it. And let it go, I think that's
divine right timing.
Yeah. We don't like that divine right timing. We like control. I want it now. And I don't want anybody to look like they suffer. I don't want anybody to be I don't want the unhappy parts, I don't want that. But I think that's part of the process of getting rid of the stuff that no longer aligns with that life that you say you want, the vision of yourself, the imagination of yourself that you say you want to be.
Intriguing. Very, very intriguing. I think we keep solving the world's problems every time we sit on the step. Somehow, at least.
It's a magical so far.
Right, it is. At least drawing attention to the details that we have to participate in and entertain. When we're trying to up-level. Because I think any institution that's just considered religious, and any religion, right? I think that there is an active focus on imagination. Like it has to be part of your doctrine, because that's where all the angels and the devils live, right? Isn't it? Don't you think that's where that's where the design of our life is in our brains, is in our minds, and it can be a beautiful place, and it can be a dangerous place. Just to kind of give you guys a tidbit, not to deviate, but one of the things that we do, because I have the habit of, kind of have an Instagram page that I use for venting often, but I try to spread some positivity. But guess what? Positivity doesn't sell. So the reason that positivity doesn't sell is because the kind of the universe, that energetic force of swirling energy tends to like to fluctuate and vibrate in this space of negativity sometimes, and it gets fueled because it rises people's emotions. But good, I believe, spreads easier. Right? Positivity spreads easier than negativity. There's friction when there's negativity, but people like to see it because it's almost like, not taboo, but people like to divulge in it because it's like, okay, well, what's going on with that guy? Why is he so negative? Why is she so negative? Why are they pushing that? So there's curiosity around it a little bit.
Make them feel better about themselves
Right,
for a moment.
that too, make themselves feel better about themselves. But good now is, I feel it's people are tired with kind of, swirling around in the muck, as it were. I'm starting to get tired of it. I'm seeing a shift where now it's like random acts of kindness. Again, takes imagination. Someone had to sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to do something good for the universe as opposed to saying something negative. We're going to do something good for somebody else because we get tired of the negative. Because it makes us desperate. It makes us close our minds, close the ideas of what it is that we want to be as humans. It pushes us away from God, or closer maybe, right? Who knows? But it's in a way, yeah, and it's kind of the cycle of life. It pushes us closer, doesn't it? Because you get too much of it, you're like, you know what? I'm over it. It's like your soul starts to get darker and your energy starts to change. So yeah, I love these kind of conversations because it really gets into the nitty gritty, like the uniqueness of the power that we have to be able to change our outcomes. And so what I was going to get to is every time I'll say something negative lately, my wife will say, well, let's focus on 3 positive things after I say the negative thing. She'll be like, okay, yeah, good, received, got that. Now, what are 3 positive things that you're grateful for? I'm like, wow, okay, it changes the complete energy of my day, and the complete energy of my focus at that moment. It's actually a really good exercise. So, and that's all imagination.
It is. And it's just making one muscle stronger than the other.
Right.
Right? It's just one muscle stronger than the other. So if the negative thought gets 1 pump, then now I'm coming in with 3 pumps for the other side. Because obviously if the negative energy is getting out first, it's stronger. And I'm not having that. We're not having that. Because and so we're both, he says it's just for him, but I'm doing it too. Whenever we do that, we'll go, oh, 3 things, and it's kind of become a fun thing.
Right.
And it's fun to, and he'll still say, can I say the same 3 things I've said before? No, it has to be all new 3 things. So it's like, we're having really a lot of fun with it, and obviously because it's bringing us back up.
Which wolf do you think?
Right?
Yes.
And which side do you think aligns with the life we're trying to create right now? Right? We're going through massive growth spurts.
Yeah.
We're going through massive things that can feel very frustrating and very opposite of the thing we say we want to create. It feels like that. But, and when you're in the middle of it, so anybody, I don't know who this is for today other than me and him, but if this is for you, I'm telling you, preaching to the choir over here, because I'm telling you that we all, in the muck, we feel that way. We feel like the butterfly stuck in the, I don't know if it's called a chrysalis or cocoon, I don't know the terminology. But if we're stuck in that moment, that part, we all feel like, what is going on? How could this possibly be getting me where I need to go? It all looks like it's failing everywhere. I totally get that. And at the same time, when I'm on the outside and I see somebody else going through that because of my practice and my understanding about life, man, I can almost see it. It's fantastic. It's amazing. I can see the shedding and the movement, and even though they're having a tough time, and of course you want to help where you can, but you got to let people have their journey toward the thing. It's all part. I always say to him all the time, I have to believe this is God. I have to believe it's all God. It's all part of where we're going. I have to believe it.
And she really believes it.
I do.
Because if you don't, and she's actually got me to believe it, because sometimes setbacks will turn into, permanent kind of circumstance for you. If you don't believe it, you can train your mind to believe it.
Yes.
That's probably the most powerful thing one of many powerful things that she's taught me or showed me. So a lot of men need to hear this message, because in this country, leadership is now dissipating. It's being challenged by this idea of validating what a fact is. First of all, that's a whole other conversation. But then this idea,
a whole other one.
This idea that toxic masculinity is just a part of the masculine experience, and it isn't. The idea is being also challenged of what an alpha male is, and these kids and people being told that crying and being emotional, and I've even been a victim to it. It shows weakness and all these kind of things, and what's strong and what's weak, and how to treat women, all these things, right? And so it's now festering in the mind of these young people and these young men and these grown men even, and they're challenged with their imaginations because they're not free to imagine in the way that now manifests positivity in their lives. They're manifesting things that are negative. You know, their imaginations aren't being used for good. And it's training, it's practice, it's goodness around you. If you have a toxic partner, you're gonna have a toxic relationship, you're gonna have a toxic life.
Yeah.
Period. It's not something that you can challenge or deviate from. It's the way it works.
Yeah.
And so either one force is gonna win. And if I ever brought toxicity into my relationship with my wife, then the good is winning for sure because I've been open to it. Even that takes imagination and thought and balance and focus to be open to this idea of someone telling you that you're being XYZ or you're not doing the right things to be ABC, you know? It's just the way it is. It's a deep introspection that's needed. And most humans, because of ego, stubbornness, or whatever, we're not equipped to do it. Or maybe we are equipped, but we're getting even to the point to recognize that you need to do it is a whole different story. Like conditioning, exactly. Like, goodness gracious, we don't even know what it is that with the idea of being self-conscious, the level of emotional intelligence to be self-conscious and be able to be on the outside looking in and saying, you know what, that doesn't look good. Like, I don't know if 50% of men can do that, you know, because we're so stuck in our egos. We want outcomes, we want our way, and then all this trauma that we've dealt with. You know, it's, it's a lot for some people, but but in order to get there, you have to imagine. You have to be able to imagine something that you can see and you can recognize as being the right thing that takes you towards the right direction.
Can I say that, adding on to that, because there are infinite possibilities. There are infinite ways this can work out that you can't even imagine, right? That you can't, me, cannot imagine. You have got to open your mind to divine ideas. When I say to him, I see greatness, I know that God has this covered, that God is using this on purpose. God is doing this on purpose. I believe this is part of the process, that it's in the how, which is none of our business. Our job is to say, here's where we're going, here's where we're going, and take the actions that are in front of us, even though we don't see the whole staircase. We take that first step, because the how, as we always say, is God's business. I don't want to take control of that. I only see 4 or 5 possibilities. There's infinite possibilities. So I want my imagination to be open to divine ideas. I want to align with what God's plan is and what God's way is, because it's going to be something I've never probably thought of before. It's going to be easier, better, come with people and things and stuff that blow your mind. I mean, you can have it your little human way if you want, I suppose. You can just force your way. But it's a lot easier if you're in the flow of the divine, if you align with the frequency of what it is that you're setting, that you're feeling called to create, and move in that confidence, even when it's painful. That's when you know you have faith. When it's painful, you still move with the confidence that this too is from God. This too is going to grow me or make me ready for whatever it is that I mean, how many stories do we know of the underdog, of the downtrodden, of the person that lost everything, coming back and being like a light for everyone else, changing things, making making nonprofits that support everybody else that's ever going to go through the same problem again. Like this is massive stuff that comes from things that we would say, I don't think I could survive that. I don't see how I could get through that. Yeah. And as we look through that, it's important to use our imagination for good. Anytime you think to yourself, well, I don't see how we're going to get through this, right? Think of going with the gratitude thing. What are 3 ways that you could get through this, though? What are 3 ways that you could get through this? Yes, you'll automatically concede it. Maybe you can't. But what about, maybe there's 3 ways that you can, because if there's infinite, I'm sure you can come up with 3 ideas. And all that does, you may not use any of those ideas. I'm not telling you to go with any, but just open your mind to the possibility that there is another way that you cannot see from your human experience at this time. That the universe has that all worked out. You are just experiencing it as you go, and your job is to stay aligned and to keep your mind open to those divine ideas coming through you. Someone
was talking about this. So I have have two schools of thought on this idea. Actually, this morning at work, this idea of influence, what influence looks like, and I just touched on it earlier. You know, maybe you guys want to contribute to this, but how does a human define and decide what influence works for them, right? And then that can go from anywhere to a relationship, the person they choose to marry, or date, or love, the person that they choose to work with or ask to be a business partner, the person they decide to hate. That now you're eliminating yourself from an opportunity to know somebody that might have been one of those infinite possibilities at life that you just talked about, infinite, and how that could have alternatively changed. Like, how do we discern that? Like, what is the ultimate? There's no wrong answer, but what ultimately are the factors that make us say yes and no to people and things?
How it feels.
You know,
Oh,
true.
okay.
I need more of your insight.
Oh, okay.
That's not enough. She said how it feels. I love that, but is that correct?
Well, I think that's how we learn, by listening to our gut, and then something happens, and, oh no, that is not what I wanted. So then that tells you that aspect, it still comes down to instinct and gut and listening to your inner voice. So you can call that God, you can call that training, conditioning, whatever. But ultimately, I have to trust on how, if I feel peaceful, I'm moving in the right direction. If I feel agitated, I need to keep praying on it. And I just went through a couple of weeks of this exact thing where I was in so much of the yucky stuff. It's like, how do I extricate myself from this? Especially when I've involved other people in it.
Right.
So how do I extricate myself? It's like, okay, so just getting quiet and saying, just own it. End up having a conversation saying, look, I shouldn't have done this. I should have never opened my mouth, blah, blah, blah. And it was interesting because when I finally came to that piece, the other people on the other side were like, I don't know what you're worried about.
Yep.
You know?
So it was a concern only for you, and it wasn't for them.
Yep.
But you would never have known had you not been brave enough to do that.
I think for me, what influences me is somebody who's reflects what I'm missing, what's missing in my life.
Okay.
I get influenced by things that I don't have, and sometimes that's unfortunate, sometimes it's good. And then the other part of it is, you mentioned hate. I don't hate this person, but there's a person at work that has never done a thing in the world to me. Nicest person on the face of the earth, but there's something about him that I cannot tolerate. And I don't know what it is, and I have to think about this over and over and over. Everybody else loves him to death. I can't stand him. Don't know why. He's never said a single negative word to me. He's been nice and kind to me. I just can't stand him. And the only thing I can think of is he reminds me of somebody in my past that had a negative impact on me.
Yeah.
So it's all about where you were in the past and what you're missing in your life for me.
Interesting, definitely.
You know what's great about that is that, thank you. There is no correct answer, unfortunately. That was actually me selfishly trying to find the correct answer. There is no correct answer.
Well, I love what Ann said.
I love everything they said, yeah.
With the checking of anxiety, I preach this a lot too. Like, where were you moving from when you made the move?
Oof.
Were you moving from anger? Were you moving from fear? Were you moving from, because if you're moving from fear, you're moving from future thinking, future thoughts, right? A future that we don't know is going to happen. So those moves might not have been aligned with the future, right? If you're moving from anger, you're moving from your past. You're moving from that inner child, that past thinking. And therefore, then you are also making moves from a past that no longer exists. It's not what's happening right now. So when you own it, you're saying what's actually happening. Here's what's actually happening. And then,
I just keep hearing dinging from
when you're moving from what's actually happening, you're going to find that that move is the move to make. And it winds up aligning. And it's almost like the person on the other side has a very difficult time being negative about it, because you're coming from the present moment, from the truth, a place where we're all connected, and they feel it too. They know that too. And they go, oh, you know, it's not that bad, don't worry about it. You know, or and you get a response where you're like, wow, you're not angry, you're not, no, but if I had come at you angry, you certainly would have been angry, you would have been in that same spot. But because I came from you in the present moment, in what's actually happening, and made my move from there, you met me there. I pulled us into the present moment. You know, we were just, we heard a story recently about a situation of someone making amends with somebody that they didn't want to do that. It wasn't what they wanted to do, but they were really compelled to do it, and they finally just thought, well, I'll just get it done. And they went and did it, and it was so amazingly received that the other person also shared their heart, and they wound up talking for like an hour, and it was a beautiful experience, and walked away going, oh my gosh. So you can harbor those feelings and stay in that and allow that to be whatever it is, that negativity, or you can get into the present moment, own it, or say what's actually happening and what would I like to have happen, and then move with that and drag that other person right into the present with you and see what you couldn't create together in that moment. And that's what aligns. That's how we align. And I just feel like oftentimes things happening around us if you're on the gram, if you're on watching the TV, if you're listening to any other human for more than 30 minutes, it's really hard to stay present because everybody's worried about the future, upset about the past, and they like to float around there. So they're making all these moves and these conversations, and everybody's imagination is running wild.
So much going
From
on.
the wrong place, though. So if we can do what you said, Ann, just get quiet. I'm just going to remove myself. I'm going to go get quiet and be like the butterfly in the cocoon, just waiting for the wings to get ready. I'm just going to take my time. It takes forever, but I'm doing it until that answer comes. Then we get to where we all need to be.
Right.
And we can be the way for other people. We can help other people instead of being in the muck with everybody else, which is so easy to do. It's everywhere.
I'm fighting against this idea of, and people keep, I've done it a few times, but people keep bringing it up to me and said it will change my life. Or, I mean, at least contribute to changing my life amongst all the other things that are changing my life. And that is this idea of meditation. People always talk about meditation. And I'm not anti-meditation, but I'm anti-meditation. No, I'm kidding. I'm not anti-meditation. I'm
sitting. I can't get there.
Just this idea of sitting and like being in my own thoughts. Right, turning my mind off and being able to just explore in there is bloody frightening. You know, it's like, you know, and so, but that is where I think the imagination really can do some cool stuff, you know? And the couple of times I have done it, it's been overwhelming, but it's there. So the imagination, when you meditate, can go anywhere it wants to, you know, within reason. But I love what you said earlier, where you've got all these people trying, like, you know, this push and pull, this back and forth between humans, trying to just accomplish whatever it is, right? But somewhere in what it is they're trying to accomplish is this idea of just feeling okay with themselves and okay with life and okay with the decisions they make. And even your ability to be able to say, you know what, I don't like this person, but I don't know why, and you feel some type of way about it, remorse, right? You feel like it's unjust. When you just said that, Evie, right?
Yeah,
Evie, sorry, Evie. I like thought about, like, I used to say this to you. I've been in the workplaces and with my last couple of jobs, and I have people that were just weird towards me. And there's a lady at my job now that does that. I showed you her, and she's just rude. She came up to me the other day and hugged me, thinking I was somebody else, and then almost took the hug back. Like, oh, sorry, I thought you were one of my clients. Next day I saw her, just said nothing. Like, I'm like, wow. But I checked her. I said, so you thinking I was somebody else? You gave me a hug. I was kind of joking, halfway joking, but now you don't. You know it's me. You can't even say hello. She said, oh, I thought you were on the phone. I'm like, no. Like, she just made an excuse, but I checked her. But she for sure feels that way about me. So I'm nice to everybody. And
You're overly
overly
You're
nice.
doing everyone else's job,
Right,
you're
okay.
helping everybody.
Right.
Yeah, same here.
I'm getting to it. That's how I am. But she has weird energy towards me. So what I started doing, and it's probably not good advice for your patrons, but I started ignoring her. I started ignoring her, and then she's gonna notice, and then and then people like that will come around and then stop being nice after she realizes that she was wrong, whatever it is, right? Who knows? True.
True.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? I love that you brought that up because I've never understood people like that, but then they might not interpret me the way that I want to be interpreted.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any control over how they interpret us.
Right.
Wish we would.
Right.
Well, it's interesting. There's a chapter in my book. In the workplace, one of the things that I empower my employees to do is in a situation like that, because what we tend to do is we make up in our head.
But,
So
Imagination.
she's
Every
reacting
time.
to you in this particular way. She's also making up something in her head.
right.
Now, in your head, you might think, well, she's racist,
Right.
or I'm too tall, or whatever in our minds we think I'm scaring someone or whatever. But I think that our tendency as humans is to think we know what's in the head of the other person.
Dangerous.
And I found that not just as clarification for my soul, but also for stopping my mind running its own version of what's going on. And if I confront the person in an aggressive way, why are you talking to me like that? You get one response, but I would tend to say, have I done something to offend you?
Yeah, very good.
And what happens is one of two things is going to happen. They're going to say yes and tell you why, and then you have an opportunity to apologize, explain, amend, or say, sorry, that's me, whatever that outcome is.
Yeah.
Or they say no, and one of two things happens for them. They start recognizing that you're receiving it that way, and they might not want you to receive it that way, so they'll change the behavior, or they have to sit with who they are, and that's on them.
Wow.
That's just my thoughts.
I love that.
From workplace,
Yeah.
collaboration in the real world, and Elk Caldwell on Amazon.
That's our little, our sponsor, our plug here, for all things HR for sure.
Awesome.
And yes, and when you're doing that, you are in the present moment when you're doing that. When you when you're feeling a certain way that someone's acting that way, you are using your imagination in the future or the past thinking. You're using your imagination in one of these two places that is not the present moment. But when you come back to the present moment and you say, what's actually happening? Well, she's making me feel like I offended her or something. So maybe, what would I like to happen? I would like to know what's going on. Well, maybe I should go ask her then. And then you go ask her. All of that is in a very calm, logical, step-by-step, like you don't have to think very hard to know what to do.
And you're taking it on your own by
Yes.
saying, have I done something to offend you?
Have I done something to offend you? Right, you're
There's no way
owning your
that
own
There's no way
experience.
they can consider that an accusation.
All right.
I know, you can't, because you're just
I like that.
running your own show. You're not trying to run anybody else's show. You're just
My
want
show's
clarity for
enough.
yourself, right? You want it for yourself.
What
Yeah.
about what on earth is wrong? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Don't you see that this is my wonderful husband? But you were saying something about, I can't remember what you were saying now, but I wrote down, a lot of us are just trying to survive this world and this experience, this human experience. We're just running around here surviving. We're just living life by default. We're running around, whatever is happening to us, we are just reacting over and over. Instead of being intentional, instead of coming to moments of meditation or prayers, quiet for a minute, and what's actually happening, and what's my move from here, allowing the divine ideas to come through, and for you to know what's the next right move for what is actually happening. Not what my imagination is running around in the past, but what is happening right now, so that I can move forward in a way that leads me to where I want to go, right? I have the power to do that at any time. But instead, a lot of us run around, a lot of us kind of run around surviving all the time. I'm guilty of that. When things start getting going and things are moving fast, I'm not slowing down enough to think about, catch myself. And you get frazzled and the cortisol goes up and, next thing you know, your heart's palpitating. You're like, what am I doing? You're not sleeping because your brain won't shut off for a minute. Well, because we're in survival mode. Why are we in survival mode? We're creating this. I'm the creator of my experience. I'm I'm the boss here. Why am I in survival mode? Right? I didn't sign up for, what was that show? I didn't sign up to be on a episode of Survivor. That's not what I'm doing. This is my life. Right? So what am I creating? What am I using that imagination for? What am I doing? And I really feel like that's a lot of us, we know this, a lot of people just don't know it. So you are coming into contact with people who have no clue that they are creating with every thought, with every rude behavior, with every kindness, whatever. They're creating that. They don't know, and you have to give them some grace. I feel sorry for that you think that life is happening to you. I'm sorry. You're not enlightened yet, because it's not. It's coming from the inside out. You have to begin within and move it out. You are the designer of this experience that you are having. And the more that we work on really trying to understand that, the faster we're going to get to where we want to be. The faster we'll experience the life we want, what we love, you know?
What a great conversation.
Right. Last.
We do good.
We always, especially with you guys, it's always easy.
I know. You guys are fun to talk to. I forget we're on camera sometimes.
Right. So last night, our niece, Gabby. What did she say? She said something really important.
I think this is just going out. Well, to talk louder. We will talk stronger.
She said something really important. She said that we're all just actors in our own movie or something like that. Like, she's talking about her work. This is she's 18, 19? 19. That level of what do we call it? Insight, introspection, insight for a child that age was absolutely fascinating to me, because I never even thought of it that way. When I was 18, 19, 20, 21, all the way up to 27, I was just kind of running around. I would intentionally do a lot of things, like I would train hard for basketball, I would try to be good to people, but I didn't understand this kind of this insightful idea that I was in control. And it's like, it's so powerful. The more people I could teach that, or we could show that, how their lives would change, like so fast.
Yes.
And then and now in this age, and I'm almost 50, and I'm understanding this idea that, I have control over a lot of the things that happened in my life. I was never a victim, but on some levels, I would subscribe to some of the emotions that a victim would have, right? And then when you're doing that, then essentially you are. But I would always say I'm not, because I know that I was the person that caused whatever it was that I dealt with, which really weren't horrible things, to be honest with you. I've been pretty blessed. But the horrible things that have happened lately, pre-marrying my wife, the things that I have had to now really fight to get through. Again, I was the person that caused them. And so if you, as we talked about, the imagination, if we get a hold of the mind, and we're able to surround you with people and things and experiences that lend to your mind thinking and functioning and seeing and imagining the way it needs to, your life will only get better.
Yeah.
And so when
right?
So when people wallow in their negativity and that kind of this darkness that they have, we talked about this too. Like, we just sit there and say, you know what, this is my life, nothing I can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you saying that just shows there is something you can do about it, because you just decided there's nothing you can do about it because you don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it. You just made that choice.
You decided.
But you just decided. So there is something you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Right? Isn't that crazy?
There's infinite things that you can do about everything.
Yeah, I feel like
you're telling yourself a story. You're imagining.
Right.
Yeah, you're just running around doing it. We're all doing that, though.
Right. I used to feel shame in this idea of imagination, to be honest with you. When I would imagine things that perhaps I thought that I didn't deserve.
Right.
Or I say things that perhaps didn't quite believe, but I knew that it, like, how dare I? Like, how dare I? Why did I think that was okay?
Because you're a child of God.
Maybe. But then there's these maniacs
yeah.
that are convinced that they deserve the world, billions, and they take and they take and they take and they take. You know why they do that? Because they believe that they thought it, they do it. They have no. That's so. As much as we can manifest and live in the goodness, and try to manipulate that thought and the imagination and power around that, we can live just as well in the darkness. And the darkness can take you and give you things too, by the way.
Yeah.
So you said that being a child of God means that you're choosing, you're making sure your consciousness and goodness is aligning with the things that you want and that can help other people. It's not selfish. You're ingratiating. You're filling yourself with this spirit, this good, this power, and you're letting that kind of run free and let the imagination lean into that, as opposed to the kind of the nefarious, negative space that a lot of people
Because
do.
it will give you stuff to make you think.
Right.
It'll give you good.
Right.
So that you won't go for the great. So
Right.
you won't go for your potential, which
Right.
you really. Oh, this is good enough.
Fascinating.
I feel safe here. I'll just
Right.
maybe I shouldn't go for that because what if I'll just stay here. Your imagination will make you feel like, no, I don't think. Your imagination will allow you to think of these. Wow, what if I did this? What if I could do that? But this could happen.
Right.
That could
There it
happen.
is.
Your imagination, like, man, you gotta get a hold of that. Those divine ideas are coming from the divine. That's it. Done. If you can think it, I have a friend who owns a printing company. Their slogan was, "If you can think it, we can ink it." And I really believe that. If you can think it, it is because you can do that.
Right.
You can accomplish that. You can be that. It may just not be how you thought it.
Right.
You have to be open to the way that spirit brings it about. But you can have those things, So it's just very interesting. My brain feels like it hurts a little bit now, but yes, it's very quantum physics-y.
It is. Going to
Jeannie would like that. She's in the quantum physics class right now.
like
She's going through that one
going
right
to a. I always like. I think one of the most strange. It's going to sound weird to you, Anne, because of your HR background, but one of the weirdest predicaments we put ourselves in, but actually one of the most powerful predicaments is a job interview. You know what I mean? Like, you go into this place where nobody, like the person, for all intents and purposes, doesn't know who you are. You sit down in front of this person that has no experience about who you are, and they have only their own specific subset.
Give their little questions.
Right, they have their own subset of experiences that define, who they are, right? And they're going to ask you questions so that you can convince them with their different subset of experiences that you're the person for the job. And if you happen to get it wrong and you don't align with the things that they deem to be important or that make sense, you won't get the job, but you might be the best person for the job ever.
No kidding.
This is the only space that I think AI will be helpful, by the way. Meaning, like, because they get it wrong so often. Think about the people that, and this happens across the board, but the people that are now surveying these resumes that come in, thousands of resumes, and then looking at them one by one, and their biases are determining who they actually call in for an interview. And these are 23, 24-year-old kids with no life experience, some of them. They're lower level, they're not being, it's not the head of HR. She's not going to look through 1,000 resumes unless it's a small company, right? You have someone doing it for you. And maybe you're telling them what it is, your level of discernment is, and what you want to see, but they're going to look and say, well, I think these are the things that qualify someone to have this job. This is why sometimes, it's I think a lot of entrepreneurs, speaking of imagination, we're entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur, you have to imagine. And so having an imagination, you're more likely to take a risk with someone that doesn't necessarily fit the mold of what it is that you want.
And from experience, usually that is what you want.
Right.
If you're innovative, you don't want someone who's done it a certain way has all this experience, because they will come in and just bring that to the table.
Right.
You want someone who can think innovatively, can use their imagination.
Right.
And be open to possibilities so that your company is innovative or does something different or moves forward differently.
Right.
And Anne's smiling because Anne knows. Anne's like, I know this.
Yes.
I'm aware. My thing isn't working, so just speak loud.
I used to be an entrepreneur way back when I was younger in a different career, and I had to hire my first employee, and I had never ever hired an employee before. And the person I chose was not the person that another friend who was really in HR said, I think you should choose this person, because the person she chose did a lousy interview. The person I chose did a wonderful interview. She said, but she has the personality that's going to work for this. She's damned if she wasn't right. So we chose her instead, and she was the best employee we ever had.
That's cool.
Because I would have chosen the wrong person.
The
other person might have been wonderful,
right,
but the person that we chose was perfect.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like the kid that can't take a test, but they're brilliant.
Right.
But if you give them the test in a different way, you'll see You'll see that. We don't all fit in a certain mold. Not everybody interviews well, speaks well, whatever, but they will run circles around the
Right.
other person because most likely they had to develop those skills
Right.
to be better because they have those little issues over there.
Better.
Be better, people. Be better. All right. Well, we could keep talking all
Yeah, we
day,
could.
but
Let's do 2
I
hours.
know you all have plans.
It's been wonderful.
It's awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I love it when you're on this stuff with me. It's very
You
fun.
too.
Okay, so I think I should pray us out then.
Yes, you should.
Unless you want to pray us out.
I'm not sure what to buy me. I have my own way to pray. No, you got it.
Okay. He's a really great prayer too.
Yeah, but that's different. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Feeling the vibration, feeling the energy in the room. Breathing that in. Recognizing one power, one energy, one divine idea, one life. Each of us being that energy. Each of us expressing through our uniqueness that energy. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for knowing this truth. I'm grateful for our time together. I'm grateful for the sharing. All these wonderful ideas about imagination. I'm grateful for realizing that as I allow myself to align with my good, to align with God, with Spirit, however you name it, I move easily, effortlessly. I'm in the flow. The ideas come, and I recognize that each one of us has our own unique set of ideas that come to us. And in our divine timing, as we allow ourselves to stay in the vibration of what we are creating, we know that next right move. We know what is ours to do. And I'm grateful for this awareness, for that sharing. And I'm grateful for all of us receiving what is ours to receive today. And so I let it go. No one trusts that it's all done in the mind of God, and together we say,
And so it is.
So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, True, for your wonderful helping us through before, after, and during the service. Thank you, my love, for sharing your insights.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoyed it.
Thoughts on it as well. We love you, Rev Jeannie. We miss you. And if you'd like to help this ministry, if we spoke to you this morning, if something resonated with you this morning, we would love for you to be a part of this ministry. You can do that in so many ways. You can subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. You can join our Facebook group on Sofa Sundays. We also have an Instagram group called Sofa Sundays. We are Begin Within Ministries. You can go check us out at our website, find out more about us. You can donate to what we do here as one-time donation, a tithe, whatever you are called to do. We also offer a partnership, and that's a monthly partnership where our partners donate every month. It's $45 for an individual, $75 for a couple or family, where we share things like we all have these cool mugs with our logos on them. Coffee tastes so much better this month. I don't know what it is. It's like a magical mug. We get all of our partners receive their yearly workbooks with all of the topics in there for the year. We create classes that our partners receive on the house from us as well, and anything we do, our partners receive benefit from that. So we would love for you to help us build this community. Please join us in person if you're local. We'd love to see you here. We are a hugging community, but we'll handshake too, but whatever works for you. But we'd love to see you present. If not, if online's the best way for you too, thanks for being here as well. Feel free to reach out to us if you need anything. Also, as always, have a wonderful, happy Sunday. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.